What's up, hybrids? Welcome back to another episode of the Fandom Hybrid Podcast. This is Hanako, and I am here with Anthony, Lori, and Mike, and we are discussing the third episode of The Falcon and the Winter Soldier. And I think after the ending, we are all like, what? What?
I told Hanako I had one of her moments. I saw Ayo and I hollered.
Listen, I was like, it's like as soon as he picked up the first ball, I was like, why does that look familiar? He picked up the second one. I looked at the markings. I was like, nuh-uh. And then she showed up. I was like, I lost my shit. I was like, at first I thought it was Shuri. I was like, if it would have been Shuri, I would have jumped out my window and ran around my subdivision like, what the entire? But I'm glad to see her. I was expecting her to be like, I can't wait. I can't wait to see if she says move or be moved, or you will be.
Yeah, I just said move, or you will be moved.
Yeah. So obviously, this podcast discussion of this episode will not be going in order. I think we all had to get that out because I had the same reaction. I was looking at it, and when he picked up the first beat, I was like, that looks familiar. And then with the second beat, I think the second beat was like embedded in a wall. I said, who's here from Wakanda? Who is it? Because of course I hadn't heard, no leaks, no anything. So I was just like, who is it? I was like, it can't be Shuri. You know what? I'm gonna be honest. I was almost trying to prepare myself because I thought maybe something got filmed before Chad passed. And I was like, if Chadwick shows up in this show, I would have lost my shit.
I might have had a heart attack if I would have seen Chad. I think I would be incapacitated. I would be like, look, we got to film this tomorrow. I can't do this right now.
Right. So I was still good, but I was kind of like, it could have been a Okoye.
What?
I'm not seeing Denai Guerrero on my screen right now because she's not on The Walking Dead right now. So I would have been happy. But this is good because
I would have taken any of the
any of them.
Any. M'Baku could have been in there, but we know that's not happening. But I mean, I think they gave us a hint earlier in the episode when Sam started talking about Wakanda, when Bucky was talking about going to get Zemo, and he was like, excuse me, do you not remember what he did and blah blah blah, and he was the one who killed King T'Chaka and blamed you for it, and do you think the Wakandas have forgot? Because I don't think the Wakandas have forgot.
I don't think so either.
Okay.
Even further back when he mentioned that he was the White Wolf, that was probably a little bit of foreshadowing too.
Yeah,
and you're right.
And he was in his feelings because of that lovely suit they put him in.
Man.
I don't think he minded. Those were the few moments of peace that he had.
Oh shit!
I don't think he cared.
He's all right.
He's all right. He'll be all right. Put me in a toga, give me some grapes and oranges, I'm straight.
No, I think she's talking about that suit they put Sam in for this undercover mission in the episode.
That pimp suit. That was woo.
Oh no, I like what
pimp suit.
I was like, yeah, okay, what the hell?
I like what Zemo said though. Anytime a man dresses fashion forward, they want to call him a pimp. No, he looked pretty slick.
But then he uttered the most pimp line ever. He goes, I can't run these heels. I was dying.
I
was like, oh no,
I bet you that was improvised.
It had to be. But no, I wasn't surprised that we saw Wakandaness in this episode. But what got me is that she showed up, and I think it was Mike that put the little clip from a previous movie. I was like, oh yeah, because I knew she was one of them, but I couldn't remember, which one she was. I was like, oh, that makes sense now. It was cool to see.
Shout out to her for being in 3 Marvel movies, and no one ever really talks about it. I mean, like cast consistently in 1, 2, 3, 4. No, because she was in either Infinity War or she was in Infinity War too.
Mm.
So that's 4 Marvel movies. That's 4 Marvel ones.
Shout out to her for being able to be sexy and damn intimidating all at the same time.
And bald headed at the same damn time. Like, ma, She hasn't changed either. How does she not change? She looks exactly the same. She has
Black
not
don't crack, baby.
at all.
She looked like she was ready to whip his ass. Like, dude,
like she was getting ready to move his ass.
Like, what's up to boy Zemo?
Right.
Yeah, she's ready for that.
And Bucky knew. He was like, I wonder when you would be showing up. Like, he already knew.
Yeah, he ain't stupid. He knew.
Man, listen. Okay, this is further proof that how far ahead Marvel is of DC. Because DC could never. And I'm saying that shit because Marvel is just, they know what their audience wants to see. They know how to pander to us, and I am here for all the pandering that they want to do. They can bring back whoever the hell they want to now. I'm just like, because that is a total surprise, because I don't think everyone had a kind of inkling that was going to happen, but I dare you to find somebody who said that this was going to happen in episode 3. I'm
gonna be honest, the thought never crossed my mind. Honestly, I know I heard the lines and talk about Wakanda, but I'm gonna be honest with you, I never thought until I saw that bead, I would have never thought they would have dropped anyone from Wakanda in the show. But however, I want to say it should have been apparent because everybody has been showing up in this series, which, like you said, is a testament to Marvel and Disney. And while we're talking about that, I just want real quick before we get into it, I'm going to stand by this production because the value and the quality of what they're putting on the screen, I swear this is a movie. They are giving us each part of a 6-hour movie. And it's like every episode is getting better and better. And like I'm sitting here trying to take notes. I'm like, is there anything wrong with this? Like, is there anything bad in the episode? Anything that doesn't make sense?
I have a couple things
I'm trying to nitpick. I mean, I'm really trying to find something to be negative.
I put my notebook down. I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna watch the show because whatever.
Well, I did that the first time. the second time. And then the third time I had the notebook because the episode was so freaking good. Like the second time I had the notebook, I was like, wait, let me watch it again. I want to watch it again. Okay, all right, let me give the notebook out for the third time. But yeah, and shout out. I like stealing Mike's lines. Shout out to whoever I didn't get a chance to look up, but the composer of the music and the music selection was absolutely on point. Like the music, the score, everything. It was just every scene was perfect. The coloring, the filters, the editing. I'm like a giddy kid over here watching this, like, oh my God, this is beautiful.
There were so many great things about this episode, but since, I do have to say this, since we are the 3 AT aliens and Lori is the outsider, shout out to the location scouts for that Krog Street tunnel shot that we got, because that was awesome.
Oh.
Yeah.
I was like, hey, I know that tunnel.
After you said, I had to go back and be like, what? And I was like...
What's funny is every scene that's like an outside shot, you're trying to figure out, okay, I think I know where that is.
Yeah, that's why I posted that picture of the parking deck that they got. I was like, oh shit.
Yeah. My daughter came downstairs and she saw the shot where they were going under the tunnel, and then she saw them, walking through the streets, and she was like, that's the best Atlanta has looked in a movie ever. I said, it's not a movie, it's a TV show.
I don't know. They got me messed up because it's like a movie.
Mm-hmm.
I'm watching it on my 60-inch TV, with the surround sound. I'm like, this is absolutely gorgeous.
I have 65, but I don't have the surround sound yet. I'm gonna get there.
Whatever.
I'm gonna get there.
It's like I wouldn't mind sitting for the damn near 6 hours it's going to take to watch this whole series in a movie theater. I would not mind at all.
No,
I could do it.
No, I agree with you. It's beautiful, and this episode felt like that part in the movie where all of the niceties, all the introductions are are sort of done and you're just sort of settling into the story. You might, peep out to go get some popcorn real quick, and then you sit back and you're like, oh, this is the good part for like the next 35 minutes. That's what it felt like.
Yeah.
Oh man, we're only halfway through and they're already loading this up. I'm like, what are they going to do for the next 3 episodes? Like, I'm like, yo, I'm here for, let's do this.
And I am here for Daniel Brühl, Zemo. His chemistry with them is on point. It's like he just fell right in with them.
Yo, let me tell you. I was like,
and that was the absolute greatest scene in Marvel I have ever seen, with him over there doing the fist pump in the club. I was like,
oh my God, he's the worst.
I've already seen a meme with him and Drake. They've already done a Drake and meme.
That was great.
Yes.
Oh my God, I almost lost it. He over there
just going out.
And that club must have been just something, because even Sam was like, best club ever. And I'm like, oh, okay.
But his chemistry with them was great. Like when he walked in and they were talking and they both went, no.
Oh my God,
that slow-mo shot when they were walking in, I was like, y'all, we're not supposed to be rooting for this team up, but I'm here for it. It was so good.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah, but that scene that Ant was talking about, where he was like, "If I may," and they were like, "No." Like, this is literally like you thought the buddy movie was good with just Sam and Bucky. Sam, Bucky, and Zemo is. I wasn't expecting it, to be honest. I really wasn't expecting it to be as good as it is. I thought it was going to be really awkward and tense, but it's like, I'm like, okay, shit, it's the trio. Like, instead of the odd couple, it's the odd trio. I'm like, all right, I'm here for it. Let's do this.
And to piggyback off what Mike said about Marvel being so far ahead of DC in this arena, is that these guys have worked together already. Like, they have history as these characters and being together. So just falling into that rhythm again with what they and the history that they have already established, and to see it on screen again, you can't beat that
effortlessly.
Right.
Effortlessly.
Yeah, you can't beat that. That's the payoff you get for having built over 20 some odd movies this legacy, this lore, all these people working together and knowing each other and being friends in real life. You can't beat that.
Right. I agree 100%. I mean, to make it so bad, Zemo really wasn't that much. I mean, he was in Civil War, he was an important character, but he wasn't like a forefront character in there. And to have him come into this show and just find chemistry with those two like that is just like, I mean, it's a testament to the writing, it's a testament to the actors, it's a testament to the director, it's a testament to everybody involved in this to get them to seem like they are together like that. I mean, that is just crazy.
It's really good chemistry with all three of them. And I'll be honest. Okay, so I know that his name is Baron Zemo. It just never occurred to me that he was like an actual Baron, because some people have that name.
Oh my God, that's
well, I don't think they ever referred to him in the previous movie as Baron.
Okay.
No. Just called him Zemo.
Okay.
Helmet Zemo.
Because I've heard other people mention him as Baron Zemo. So I was like, oh, okay. And then, his whole, like, he has rich boy arrogance in a different way. And I was not expecting that energy to come off of him and to be like, okay, I'm down with this energy. But yeah, I'm kind of like, wait, what's going on? Am I like really liking this character? Like, something's wrong. But I was so here for it.
Somebody pointed out that, wait a minute, so Zemo is in prison, but he's still a Baron and has all this money, but Sam saved the world and he still can't get a damn loan. Like, for real? I was like, okay, I swear to God, if Zemo somehow helps his sister out at the end of this,
you know what?
Like Batman, they're like, wait, how'd you get the house back? How'd you convince the bank to get the house back? I bought Z Bank.
Right. How did you save our boat?
I
He's like,
I know, Zemo.
I bought the pier. You know, I don't have a country anymore. So
I don't know. I don't know.
I just bought 35,000 acres of Louisiana seafront.
That whole if the food smells bad, sir, give it to them kind of negates him buying the boat. I'm just saying.
And then you know it's old money because he has the old butler.
Old.
That butler was so old. I'm like,
and I'm not making fun of. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
You can tell it's old money because he got the plane ready for him. He gave him the champagne. He said, "I'm sorry, it's cold."
I mean, and even the way he greeted him, he was like, "Hello, old friend."
Yeah.
So he's been around for a while.
Yeah.
So he probably raised him. I mean, he probably got punched in the face by Captain America a couple times.
He's the Alfred of the MCU.
Well, I mean,
you stole my line.
It must be nice. I mean, to have that kind of money where you grow up and people raise you and they're not your parents. They're like, Master Bruce and this and that. I mean, that must be nice. But you could definitely see that he had some respect because people like the Baron, he really doesn't have a lot of respect for people. But you can see that in that little thing that we saw that he kind of really respected, the butler.
Mm-hmm.
So that was cool. It was nice to see.
And it's cool that they kind of snuck his comic book character history into the story. To kind of fill him out because before that, all we knew about him was he was some special ops guy who lost his wife and child
and dad.
The Sokovia thing. So
yeah, the coat was a nice touch, and then when he put the cowl on it, that was awesome because you saw that above shot, and you're like, "Oh, there it is." It was very cool. I loved it.
They show his skills. He's
listen, what the hell? Like he had the mask on. I thought he was getting ready to beat Sam and Bucky's ass, but then he got in there and started acting like Jason Statham. I was like, "What the hell,
man?" How? Hold up. Okay, so if we're gonna talk about skills, hold up. Let's talk about Miss Sharon Carter.
Oh yeah, she brought
she brought bounty hunters. I rewound it and watched it again to count. She took on 8 bounty hunters by herself. No super serum, no special powers, just pure kick-ass Carter genes.
Yeah, but see, the thing about Sharon is that she probably had skills before, but she had to really hone them now that she's kind of an outlaw and that she can't leave Madripoor. So she had to really hone her skills to gain. Yeah, I know, but it's like that, and the fact that she is just. I mean, I'm really kind of. It's something about her where I'm just kind of like, okay, I'm not sure what's up with this, but there's something
really?
up, and I haven't figured it out yet.
I think that thing that Anthony just sort of said might have some.
I don't know. I don't engage in theorizing.
Whatever. You just snuck that one in there.
Can you cough again? I missed that. Can you cough again? I missed that.
I don't know what you're talking about.
He said power broker.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh.
But it is interesting that she was in the CIA. Before that she was a SHIELD agent. Then she was a CIA agent. And this guy, the Dr. Nagel, he worked for the CIA on the super soldier serum thing. Interesting. And then he disappears for 5 years, and he comes back up, and he happens to be in Madripoor, where Sharon is as well. Because Madripoor is fictional, but it's not the only country that doesn't have extradition laws. They won't, I'm just saying.
Right.
Sure.
Yeah,
just saying.
I get the sense that Madripoor would be what Macau is, maybe, a little bit.
Yeah.
I found that whole world very interesting, but I think that what got me is that she didn't fight too hard to make a deal with Sam, and knowing her lineage and her relative in particular, I don't see anyone in that family saying, yeah, okay, yeah, no. I think she could have negotiated a little bit harder to get him to agree to help her out. I think that was kind of staged a little bit.
Well, the other thing, quite possibly, she could actually be deep cover, knowing who she is. And they have had a line on the power broker for a while. and they're trying to get to the power broker.
I can give you that. Yeah.
Everyone got quiet. I'm just saying.
I was thinking.
That's a good theory.
There's a lot. It's not a theory. There's a lot of circumstances surrounding her. Happen to be there. All these things happening. All of it's related to the CIA because it's possible they sent her there. And if they wanted to be done with that guy, the U.S. government could have been done with him. They knew what he was doing. She easily found out where he was. Mm-hmm. So, and someone had to take out Selby. Like, why is she dead?
Here's the other thing, too. Like, literally 2 seconds after Selby was murdered, those cell phones started going off. $1 billion balance. Selby's dead. $1 billion balance.
Yeah, because there was no one in there. There was no one in there that was still walking or breathing that could have tasted that. I'm just some about Sharon don't sit.
She did seem kind of angry, didn't she?
Yeah. And what was that last line she said? We now have 2 problems.
Yeah, we have problems. Well, really 2 problems. I'll tell you on the way.
Yeah, which was interesting. But I like Selby because you see this a little bit in the Flash, where you get a non-traditional, you get a female mob boss, which is something that you usually don't see. They have the character Amareth, I think it is in Flash, where it's played by the girl Katie Sackhoff, who was on Battlestar Galactica. And in here, you've got this thing. Like, this is cool because usually, you don't see that a lot. So women are no longer the malls, as they used to be called, but now they're actually the bosses. So I was kind of sad to see her die. I was like, I wanted to see her, hang around a little bit because that was kind of cool.
And people didn't get too excited because Selby in the comic book because this is a gender switch. I think he's a black male and he's a mutant as well.
Right.
So they just kind of, I guess it wasn't important. If they wanted to sneak mutants in, there was a perfect opportunity, but no.
Yeah. We're not going down that road. We're not going down that road.
We're just not. Okay. So I'm sorry, we were supposed to start at the top.
No, right? I mean, we're just going with the flow. So
let's go with the flow.
Since we, started out talking about the different characters, I like what they showed us of Carly in this episode. You get to see her character a little bit more fleshed out. And it's funny because they give you enough to kind of feel sorry for her. Like, they humanize her. She's this person who apparently, she was turned out onto the street when everyone from the blip came back. And this is why this cause is so personal to her. The person that she called Mama, I can't remember, Dory, I think. I can't remember the name, but I guess
Dory.
Yeah, I guess this is a person who was like a mother figure to her. This person, she had tuberculosis, and Carly was trying to get help for her and did not succeed, so she died. And so this is like something that's really weighing on Carly, and it's one of the reasons why she's doing what she's doing. So they go to what is the name of the group? The repatriation, what is it? Global
GRC, the Global
Repatriation Council.
Right. So,
yeah, that commercial wasn't creepy at all.
That commercial was like a Cialis commercial. I kept expecting them to say, if your insurrection lasts more than 4 hours, contact U.S. agent.
It reminded me of the promos that they played in. You remember the movie Vanilla Sky with Tom Cruise?
Yep. I don't think I've ever seen.
Yeah, those little commercials that they had to get people to. It reminded me of that. It was so weird. But I was like, oh, it's actually a well done commercial. But yeah, it was kind of a little bit on the creepy side. But Carly and her people, they go and steal supplies from one of the headquarters because these supplies apparently have just been sitting around for months. And they're like, we have people who need it. And then her character at the end takes a turn because she blows up the whole building with innocents inside. And the guy who was with her, he's looking at her like, there were people inside. She said, this is the only language they understand. And he was looking at her like, bitch, this is not what I signed up for. But it's just one of those things where what they did in this episode, they showed us this sweet, innocent looking girl who seems to be doing this for a good cause, for a good reason. She's trying to help out people who have been displaced, people who have been forgotten by the government because they're so busy trying to take care of the people who return. And then she takes a turn for the worse. And then we start out the episode with them going to break out a very secured prisoner who ends up, Zemo took the gun when he was in the lab. He escaped while the lab was going up. And I really thought that he was about to double cross them. But no, he went outside. He shot some of the bad people. He found a car and he was like, yo, I got some wheels. Let's go. And I was like, y'all are pulling the okey-doke on that.
Right now, for him, their goals sort of align right. a little bit, because he doesn't like super people, and he kills the guy who comes up with the perfect formula, and he's just gonna go up the ladder and probably kill every person associated with that super soldier.
Was it just me, or when he said something about he wanted to meet Carly face to face, did that seem a little personal? When the way he said it.
Yeah.
I was like,
But I'm wondering what it could be, because he's been in jail. He's probably not that cut off. Because he is a baron, so he has money, so he can find ways to get things while he's in there if he really wants to.
He had a key card to the prison.
He already had the key card.
He had a key card to the prison in his book.
Yeah. Like, hold the fuck up. Because I was like, when Bucky was going through the whole scenario of how he helped them escape, all of a sudden Baron Zemo's walking through the prison. I'm like, hold up. How the hell did he get out of his Hannibal Lecter cell and then start shooting people and getting uniforms and shit? I'm like, hold up. No. Wait.
I think it was during lunch, so he was out already, and he had the key card with him. But he had
unless the key card was in the copy of Machiavelli. That's probably what he had in that copy of Machiavelli.
That's what he had in there. But it's just the fact of how did he
already had it. And Bucky ain't stupid, because Bucky's like, what you reading there? He must have seen the little bit of space. Like, he could have guessed that whatever space wasn't a bookmark in the book.
Oh, gotcha. Mm-hmm.
I'm just saying. Well, I've been watching Prodigal Son. And one of the main characters on there, he's hiding key cards
and stuff. I went on Wiki after the episode, and on Wiki it clearly said that Bucky helped him escape from prison.
Well,
he started the fight.
He started the fight, but they kind of were indicating that he did a little bit more than that. And I'm going, well, what did I miss? Because I'm watching it now the second time through, and I'm like, I don't see anything other than the fight and the key card. So.
Yeah, I think he just started the fight.
Yeah, because but I think that someone like him, I think that like a lot of the shows that we've seen, I think that he's always had the ability to leave the prison anytime he wanted. He just chose not to for whatever reason.
For whatever reason.
Yeah. He was probably cool with staying in there. Think about it. He did really kind of sort of what he wanted to do. His whole goal was to break up the Avengers. And then after he caused all of that chaos, you got the blip. Everybody's gone for 5 years. They come back and it's still chaos. So he's probably like, nah, I'm just going to sit here and chill. I get 3 squares. I have a place to sleep. I don't have to worry about being put out. I'm good.
Yeah. And it's interesting that he's reading Niccolo Machiavelli, because we have several instances of Machiavellian choices in the show, because one of the principles of The Prince is that I had to write it down for myself. Deceit, violence, and fraud are okay for the benefit of the state. So one of the problems with The Prince or Machiavelli's philosophies, or some of them, is that it's okay to do what Carly did because it was for the benefit of her people or whatever. You may disagree with killing all those security guards, but like she said to her, that's the only language that they understand. She wants them to understand that she has the power. You know, the same way that James helped, Zemo escape is because they're trying to solve this case. So it's okay to break the law. It's okay to have fraud and deceit and violence if it's the means to your end.
He's breaking the
And
rules.
that's the same choice that Sam made, because like Bucky pointed out to him, you made this choice before, for Cap. Why don't you make this choice for me now if you trust me? And he did. So we keep seeing these Machiavellian choices throughout the show, and it's almost as if this whole show was built around that principle. And I think that was smart of them to have that book be the one that he's reading.
Right.
Now, it is possible that is also a clue that Zemo might be the power broker, or knows who it is, or be associated with him, because like you said, he already had key card, he has money, and he seems to know a lot about what's going on.
If he doesn't have to know, he has a clue.
Yeah, I was gonna say he knows a lot for someone who's been locked up for 7 years.
Yeah. But remember, he climbed this ladder before, trying to find where the super soldier serum is from. So he probably knows a lot of stuff.
And conveniently killing the science. I mean, he didn't have to kill him, but I think that he killed him before he could have said something that maybe he shouldn't have said.
I think he just never had the opportunity.
He killed him to help draw out the power broker, because the power broker had him concocting more of the serum. So now that he cut him off, the power broker is really looking for his ass right now. So he knows he's going to come. The power broker is going to come to him regardless. So he's like, okay. That's a way that Sam. Look at it this way. This is a way that Sam and Bucky probably wouldn't have taken, because they're not trying to kill somebody to get someone to come out. But Baron Zemo's like, man, fuck it. This is the fastest way. I kill him. I cut his supply off. He's gonna be like, who the fuck did this? You'll be like, we did it. Come get us. So, he's doing stuff that Bucky and Sam can't do. He's going a little bit beyond what they're willing to do. So you got, and in a lot of ways, you kind of have to have someone like that on your team who's willing to go the extra mile that you don't want to go.
Okay, I'll give you that. Okay, yeah.
I'm sorry. I think Sam is that person. If someone on the fly told me that I had to drink a drink with some snake innards in it, yeah, Sam.
Look, man, that stuff is purported to have pecker power. So Sam's probably playing the odds. So why not?
I kept waiting for him to spit it out, because I'm like, I did. I kept waiting that entire sequence for him to go just, it was smiling tiger. I got your smiling tiger. It just, the whole thing was just weird. I on one hand, I liked the joke that we got at the end with his sister calling, which I just thought was absolutely hysterical, because I think that if you are an Avenger or a superhero, it would be probably in your best interest to tell siblings, parents that if I don't call you within, say, a 24-hour period and I'm obviously out of the country, don't call me. Yeah.
Or what I was thinking, he should have had some kind of code with her, so that if she called and he was unavailable or something, that all he would have had to do was say something, and she could have played it off and got off the phone before she started fussing at the kids about their Cheerios or calling him by his name. Right. She could have even gotten away with the whole kids with the Cheerios thing, because bad guys, they have families too that they have to take care of. It was when she called him Sam that the shit hit the fan.
Really, he had opportunity to hang up before then. Like after he said what he said before the kids started acting up, he was like, look, I gotta go. And just hung up and been like, all right, where were we? But he was just kind of like, okay, this is going good. I can kind of hang this out. And she called him Sam. He was like, fuck. He had opportunities to be like, look, I gotta go. Look, I'm in the middle of something, so call me back later. Click. So I kind of feel bad. Like if she was like a little more important than it looked, and it was like and she's like a mutant, and they just kind of gave her a brief cameo. That's kind of messed up. I would be like, she kind of seems like she would have been at least a little bit bigger of a tertiary character than she was.
Yeah, she served her purpose. Disposable character.
Well, she did. Yeah. That's true.
But the way she dies, she gets sniped. That's why I'm trying to figure out this Sharon thing, because we saw her in the club beforehand,
right?
And then all of a sudden she snipes all the bad guys chasing them. So she's suspect to me.
And the woman had bad security.
But notice that she didn't snipe her until Selby gave the order to kill Sam and Bucky and Zemo.
Hey, in Civil War, wasn't she the one that sniped Cap?
Yes, Captain America number 25. Yes, right.
Yeah.
Because she was Cap's girlfriend. And I'll never forget that issue because I was at work and somebody had said something about it. And when I got it, she took Steve out in issue 25 right on the steps of the FBI building that he was getting ready to go in and testify.
Yeah, she killed his ass.
Yeah, she was a sleeper Hydra agent that had been brainwashed.
And remember, the writers draw inspiration
from the comics. Yes. Yeah, and people were, if you remember, people were so pissed off about that a lot of people stopped reading Civil War because of that. But it turned out to be, one of the things that helped, because that actually led into Civil War that was just slightly after Civil War.
Yeah, that was after it had been
solved. Yeah, right before World War Hulk. Yeah.
Let's talk about that.
So since they borrowed from the comics, do we think they're going to have her kill the new Captain America?
Would not be surprised.
No,
okay, hold up.
I think Bucky's going to kick his ass. How about that? Let's talk about the great value Captain.
Let's talk about him, because I want to talk about something serious first before we get into decimating the character of the show. So I get on Twitter this morning and I see several articles talking about the fact that so-called, and I'm doing so-called in quotes because to me, these are not fans. So-called Marvel fans have been sending Wyatt Russell death threats and other stupid shit because they don't like him as Captain America. What the fuck, people?
That's just
do
sad
we not
and wrong at the same time.
And this is something that I've noticed in several different fandoms. I've been through this with the Supernatural fandom. I've been through this with the Walking Dead fandom. Star Wars. Why do people think that they have to be so protective of, yes, we're fans of these products, but these are still fictional
characters,
worlds and fictional characters. Why do you think it's okay to threaten someone just because they are portraying a character that you don't like, or they're portraying a character that you like, but not in the way that you like? Yeah. Like, where does this idea of toxicity come from that people think it's okay to do this? That shit pissed me off this morning. Like, what the fuck?
The people had not have anything better to do than to threaten actors who are doing their fucking job. It's like, there was someone else. I'll think of it in a second. Who this happened like on a scale like this too. But guys, I mean, I know that the pandemic has caused us to get a little frazzled, but it's still a fictional fucking character. I mean, it's like you just kind of have to throttle back on these things. It's like, he's not replacing Captain America. I mean, I hate to see the blowback. I mean, this kind of makes me think that the blowback when Sam eventually takes the mantle I'm wondering how that's going to be.
Well, see, I think that'll be different because in the eyes of the Marvel fans, those of us who have been paying attention, Steve actually passed that mantle on to Sam. This is somebody that Steve chose. So in a fan's eyes, Steve was the one that chose him. So therefore, Sam should be the rightful Captain America. Which, okay, yeah, I get. I mean, there's still going to be some people who are going to be pissed when he takes that mantle, just because, let's face it, we do know that there are probably some racist MCU fans. There are some purist MCU fans. They're going to be pissed about the fact that a black man is carrying the shield. We already know that's coming.
It happened after Endgame. After Endgame, people were mad that Steve gave Cap the shield, and they were like, Captain America's white. It's America. He's white. And I'm like, y'all just don't read. I mean, pick up a fucking comic book. He's emblazoned on the cover of a comic book, carrying the mantle of Captain America. It's something we have. It's something us nerds have called canon, which means that things follow along with the comic. So if you don't know anything about the canon of Captain America, then shut the entire fuck up. I'm not trying to hear anything you have to say.
The thing is, there's a certain group of people that claim a collective ownership of certain things. And Lori, if I'm not mistaken, when Isaiah Bradley was introduced, there was some pushback.
Yeah, they lost their shit.
That was a lot. I remember that.
When
I'm not surprised.
When Falcon became Captain America in the comic book, when Sam became Captain America, there was some pushback then as well. When they had that Black Panther issue where Captain America went to Wakanda and got his ass handed to him by T'Challa, there was pushback against that as well. There's a certain group of people that hold ownership. They claim a certain, or they feel a certain ownership to a type of cultural heritage in the comic books that they don't want to let go.
Oh, I know this. I know this. I'm already expecting the misogyny when Thor: Love and Thunder comes out because Jane.
There was pushback against that too.
They will definitely.
That's going to be
that's going to be horrible. But to sort of add what Anthony was saying, if you guys remember back when they had that year-long leading up to T'Challa and Storm's wedding, remember they did that awesome issue where they had every single Black superhero in the MCU go down to New Orleans and join Blade on basically a night of them hunting down some bad guys, and it was an all-Black issue. It was awesome. Oh my God, you should have heard them at the comic book store that day. I mean, you would have thought that they had just done the worst thing in the world. I mean, I'm talking people who, not the ones that say, oh, I've got Black friends, because you know there are people like that. But I'm talking about the ones who are like, well, it's not canon to have this person with this person and this person with that person. And I'm like, you've had a year of him courting Storm. They're getting married. He's a huge character. Why wouldn't he and his friends, I'm not going to say boys, his friends get together and put them in, and I think it was, what's his name? Ryan that wrote it. Have them do an issue. It's not as if this is something that's going to taint the rest of your run. They basically tried to claim that because it was Black Panther, they shouldn't have had an all Black issue. And I was like, wow, now you're telling me what we can't do.
I'm saying it's like they were acting like someone Thanos snapped and got rid of all the white characters. I mean, damn, it's like it's a couple of
they went absolutely bonkers.
Well, to Hanukkah's point, there's going to be we have to expect it to happen. That's just the nature of the beast. Unfortunately, that's just the way it is.
It's so irritating. I mean,
there's gonna be someone that's like, why we got to hear about Wakanda again? Why is everyone so excited about this chick from Wakanda? Here we go again. Wakanda this, Wakanda that, blah blah blah. Whatever, guys. It's a fictional universe, you know. Right. And this whole thing, these keyboard warriors at home, you know, saying stuff that they would never say to someone's face in person. Like, what has Wyatt Russell ever done to anybody to warrant this? It's like, what's the girl from Star Wars? Kelly, is it Kelly? Huh?
Yeah, Kelly Marie Tran.
Ever do to anybody to get that? And you know, and off the subject, Chrissy Teigen leaving Twitter because of all the hate she gets.
I love Chrissy Teigen.
She is. I mean, so it's like it's just we could go on, and we could spend a whole episode about this.
Yeah, we had it in the Walking Dead fandom a couple of years ago with Eugene's character. Josh McDermott left social media altogether because he got death threats because of the storyline where he's captured by Negan, and he fully integrates himself into the Saviors. And Sasha and Rosita, they try to rescue him. Sasha gets captured, and she eventually commit suicide to try to save her friends. And a lot of fans blamed him for that. And he got death threats, like ridiculous. And I don't understand people who do that.
They do it all the time.
It's entertainment. It's entertainment, and you don't. These are actors playing characters,
right?
And you can't hold the actors accountable for their characters' actions.
And you can't blame them. Like in Expanse, the Naomi Nagata character, they took something that they should have put in last season. They put in this season. It's an awesome sequence. Yet and still, the people who read the books, watch the TV series, actually bitched for at least a week over something that she actually did in the books. Because they said, and I quote, well, no black woman would be that smart enough to figure out how to manipulate a spacesuit. It was in the book. Sorry. So yeah, it's not just comic book or it's everywhere.
It's aggravating. I read that this morning and that just pissed me off so bad. Like this guy and okay, me as a fan, you want to know what makes me a little more upset? The fact that you auditioned for a part and you had never seen a Marvel movie. That kind of thing makes me upset, but I'm not going to send you a death threat about it, or I'm not going to, it's just, I don't understand the mindset of these people who do this. Is so stupid. It's so fucked up. Like,
well, if you remember what fan is short for fanatic, and you have some serious fanatics you take, and it can be a good thing, it can be a bad thing, because the fanatics are the ones that got this Zack Snyder cut. Yeah. When Jericho got canceled, it was the fanatics sending peanuts to the studio's headquarters, and Jericho came back. So there's a difference
between sending peanuts and sending someone
death threats. But I'm just saying, it's that same. Unfortunately, it's that same type of passion that these people have. Some of them use it for good, some of them use it for bad.
Jamal Eichel said something today on Twitter, which was actually interesting. He goes, let me get this straight. He says, you're actually upset about the way that an actor is portraying a character that they finished filming 7 months ago. He goes, really? That's all you guys got for today? He goes, the show is literally wrapped. Why are you upset? Why are you giving him death threats? And I was like, you know what? Good point, Jamal.
Yeah. It's a TV show. It's a freaking TV show. He's an actor who got paid to play a role of someone that's not even doing anything in the real world. What has Ryan Russell ever done to anyone? He's Kurt Russell's son. How can you not love him?
I'm saying, look at the chin line. Look at his chin. How can you make that chin?
Have you seen? He shaved the beard, did the part. He grew the beard back. Why are you sending him death threats?
See, here's the thing, and I think Will Smith did it very well a couple of years ago with Wendy Williams. You can tag people online and you can harass people online, but don't harass and tag people online who actually have money who can sue you back. I'm pretty sure that Wyatt Russell could sue those people quite successfully.
I mean, that wouldn't even.
It's not even worth the.
Chances are those people are broke. They probably don't. I mean, it's just that would be a waste of his time. It just
right. That's exactly that's exactly about 80% of the Marvel fandom right now. Facepalm. Like, really, guys, is this where we are right now?
And I think you hit it, or you guys said it's been a long year. People have literally baked bread. They've done this, they've done that. They've, whatever with the coffee and whatever. They have run out of stuff. And now it's like, only thing that they have now is to sit back, go to their Zoom meetings and make fun of and basically harass people because we can't go anywhere.
You can't even just blame COVID and the pandemic for that, because people have been assholes in fandoms for years. It's one of the reasons why I took myself out of the Supernatural fandom 10 years ago, because people were being complete idiots. And even now, there's so many people who are showing so much hate because the finale didn't happen the way they wanted, or Dean, what happened with his character and what happened with Cass. There's like so many people who are like this is such a huge focus on their lives. And it's like, I'm a fan. I consider myself a super fan of a lot of things. I am not going to let it destroy my mental health. I'm not going to let it make me sit in the house and cry because my characters didn't do what I wanted them to do. And I'm not going to be mad enough that I'm going to send somebody that I don't even know, that I don't know personally, a death threat just because they don't portray a character that I like on TV the way that I think it should be portrayed. If I had that much pull, I would be up there making the millions, writing and acting for these shows. I mean, these people are just, they irk me to no end.
And Wyatt Russell, literally, his character John Walker has not done anything but be Captain America. You're sending him death threats for just being Captain America.
I mean, they're basically like, "You're doing a bad job. I want to kill you." Like, yo.
It's not even that. It's like you're Captain America. You suck. You should die.
It's ridiculous.
It's ridiculous.
Thank God we don't have a con season this year. Can you imagine what they would
Imagine what Atlanta's would be like with Dragon Con, which we.
But we could do a whole show on the issues with social media and fandoms.
Yeah, we could. But back to John Walker. Yeah, the character. And before I just final. It's okay to not like the character, guys, but leave the fucking actor alone. Like, grow up. Grow the fuck up. Yeah. That's all I'm gonna say about it. But going back to the show, let's talk about John Walker. So the opening scene of the show tonight was John Walker and Lemar and a group of government agents. They are raiding I believe this was the safe house that Carly and the rest of the super soldiers stayed at, the house with the guy with the chicken livers. And so they go. And first of all, John's demeanor when he goes in, he's telling them, take no prisoners, or, just his whole, again, I've said it before, I don't like this character, people. I don't like this character. He comes in and it's like, as the episodes go, we've done 3 episodes now. We've seen his character really in 2 episodes. And it's like, it feels like he's starting to lose his grip on the ideal of who he's supposed to be as Captain America, and more of who he is as a person is starting to seep through. I mean, think about it. When we saw the episode last week and he was in the locker room and Lemar came to talk to him and they were talking about him taking on the mantle of Captain America, Lemar made a very pointed statement. He said, "You can't just punch your way out of things now." Which leads me to believe John Walker has a temper. As decorated as he is, as exemplary as he may be by military standards, he has a temper. And we see a little bit of that in this episode when the guy, they're trying to question him about where Carly is. And he pulls that whole, "Do you know who I am?" bit again. And the guy spits in his face. Now, mind you, I don't blame him for losing his temper, because I personally feel like spitting on someone is like the ultimate form of disrespect. So I don't blame him for losing his temper. But you being Captain America or trying to portray that image, you've got to have a tighter rein on your temper. And I just don't feel like, I feel like he's starting to lose that, and I think Lamar's starting to see it too.
I think that this scene kind of proves that he doesn't have the serum. I don't think he has the super soldier serum yet, because, I mean, he has a temper. He definitely has a temper. And it seems like he was on the borderline of losing control. But, I mean, the way he jacked dude up is just like, okay, you're strong, but you're not super strong. So I don't think he's there yet. Also, they have really good intelligence, because they were tracking him pretty well. I'm wondering how I was almost wondering how they knew that they were at that specific Revolution hostile, because they really zoomed in, they really honed in on that. And I was like, damn, how the hell did they get there that quick? Because I guess I don't know. It just seemed like they flew easily for them.
I think if I remember correctly, after the semi-fight when the four of them were in the truck, and John and Lemar were trying to convince Sam and Bucky to join up with them. I think they said something about they were tracking Carly, and they said every time we get close, we get, I think he said something about something getting pinged. He said, but we're getting closer. We're almost close to cracking down where she is. So I think they had people working on just the different locations, something about IP addresses or something. I don't remember because I haven't rewatched that episode since last week, but I do know that they were tracking her. Remember when they first got to that house, the tech guy got onto the computer and he told them, he said, oh, they're already looking for us. Let me go ahead and scrub all instances of us off the internet. So when he was searching for them to see what was out there, maybe that was how they tracked them down. They were like, oh, here's an internet search for these people. This must be where they are, because he did, he had Carly's name and picture pulled up from some kind of security camera scan. So it could be that when he typed in Google, they said, what is Google saying? And he said, oh, they're already looking for us. Maybe when he did that search, somebody at the CIA or somebody in the government or somebody somewhere was tracking who was looking for those people, and that's how they came up with it and were able to track her down to that particular house. That's just kind of the way I got it.
I think he said she's always one step ahead of us, or by the time we get there, she's gone. Or something like that. Yeah. Every time. Yeah. So they got pretty good intel on her. I mean, I think they know where all the places are because, I mean, they put their symbol up everywhere. So all you gotta do is just keep an eye on all those different places. So.
Yeah, shout out to Battlestar for being multilingual and showing that he's more than just a sidekick. And I really caught on, like you said, like Battlestar really in that scene seemed to kind of see the other side of it. Like he was kind of like, I kind of see why they're doing this, and it's kind of like the scene with Carly and Dovich where Dovich sees Carly was like, what the fuck are you doing? Battlestar kind of had that look too. Like he was like, you're kind of getting off the rails, man. You need to like kind of get back over here and let's figure this out. That really is like kind of the thing where if they get, I mean, later on, if they kind of get into it, I could see both of them kind of fighting each other if something happens. Like kind of going.
Who, Lemar and John?
Yeah, I did a deep dive on that, and I think Mike's right about that, because the conversation we had last week about the name possibly Bucky or Buck or whatever, and the deep dive basically it goes into a little bit of fact that he does eventually side with the regular, meaning Steve Austin's Cap line of thinking, but there's a lot I don't want to go into because I don't know if they're going to do it in this series, but let's just say that he comes to his senses sooner
Laura,
than later.
Did you just say Steve Austin's Cap?
She said Steve Austin.
Stone Cold Steve Austin says, I'm Captain America.
Stone Cold Steve Austin.
I saw a commercial with Ice-T and Stone Cold doing a Tide commercial, and it's been on my mind all morning since I saw it this morning. Okay, I'm sorry.
I was gonna let it slide, but that was too good an opportunity.
Sorry, I saw the commercial.
I wasn't going to say anything.
At 6 a.m. And it's been in the back of my mind all day, so I'm sorry if I
was going to let it slide, but that was too good an opportunity.
I'm sorry. That's okay. No, that's okay. No, you're right. Obviously, I'm tired. But definitely. But I think that for Battlestar, because I had mentioned in the group message, and I forgot about Trip. That's how long since I've seen Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. But because he was bilingual and because of certain things that he was doing, I was thinking, okay, I know about Trip, but I was like, well, is he a legacy character's progeny or something, or down the line did Trip have a half uncle or brother didn't know about? Because he was very quick to do the translation. I mean, I don't know how many of us speak a second language. I mean, I kind of speak another one, but not that well like I used to. So it's like I can't think off the top of my head everyday people that I know, can bust out with German.
But you have to think about it. He's in the military, and I think that's actually kind of common for military people to speak a second language,
right?
Especially given that a lot of them are usually stationed somewhere foreign. So I don't think that's anything that's unusual.
Right. Okay. Yeah. My son's in the army, and he can speak Arabic, which still blows my mind about him. I'm like,
that is cool. That is cool.
Okay, and I mean, think about it. Sam can speak Arabic. He spoke it in the first episode.
It's true.
So I don't. Just something about him just said Howling Commandos to me for some reason. I don't know why. It just did. And like I said, that's why I said that in the group chat.
Like I said, I feel like if he came from that kind of pedigree, then he would have said something when they were trying to convince Sam and Bucky to join them, because Bucky was one of the Howling Commandos. So that would have been a perfect way for him to kind of, maybe strike that chord of familiarity.
Yeah.
And honestly, he would have had more right to be familiar with Bucky at that point than John Walker tried to be.
Yeah, that would have been. Yeah,
because he would have been like, "Oh, you and my grandfather served together." Oh, okay. That might have endeared Bucky maybe just a little bit.
Right.
Yeah. So I don't think he has any connection. It's just happened to be coincidence that
he did that.
He's a black man. I'm almost
a
side chick.
You said side chick?
I almost said side chick. He's a sidekick to Captain America, to the new Captain America. and that he can speak German. So that's just a coincidence.
We're getting into a whole different kind of fandom now. I mean, you can
my excuse is I got up at 3 a.m. today. That's my excuse.
I'm sure there's a fan fiction of Battlestar and John Walker being together, but I don't think we need to get into
I'm sure there is.
I'm sure there are. I'm sure there are. But and it might be a possibility. I don't know enough about those characters to say that I would ship them yet. I'll just be honest. So but I mean, it's probably
the army floors get cold and lonely sometimes. I mean, they're on a mission, and it's like Brokeback Mountain all of a sudden. I don't know.
You're going down the wrong rabbit hole, Michael. We're not even here to talk
I bet he was right too.
Now.
Oh God. I think that the thing with Battlestar that I'm very interested in is knowing whether or not they're going to go really deep into his comic book history, because he does a few things that are very interesting down the road, especially when it comes to how he relates to other Black superheroes. And there's a thing with his father that I thought was very interesting, because I did a deep dive today. So I think I've gained a little bit more respect for him in this episode, and I have a lot of questions of what they could do with him later on.
That's really interesting, yeah.
But going back to him and John Walker, so of course this little siege is a bust. There's no Carly, and the guy who is there is basically telling them, "Yeah, I know who you are. I don't care. I'm not telling you nothing." That was the basic translation. So now, of course, John Walker says, "Well, we know who probably does have some leads. Let's go look in on them." So here you are again, about to spy on Sam and Bucky, or try to figure out what Sam and Bucky are doing, because you can't get shit accomplished on your own. Again, this is not endearing me to this character, because you're trying so hard to prove to people that you are Captain America. Like, I'm sorry, Steve never had to tell anybody, "Do you know who I am?" Steve never had to fight for that kind of respect. He just did the job and did what he was supposed to do. And somebody pointed this out, and we were talking about this in the last episode. So when that whole conversation came up and Bucky asked him, "Have you ever thrown yourself on a grenade?" And he said, "Yeah, 4 or 5 times. And then he started talking about that reinforced helmet. It's a thing that I do with this reinforced helmet. And somebody pointed out, "Yeah, you probably did that 4 or 5 times with a reinforced helmet. Steve did that pre-super soldier serum through his body on top of a grenade because he thought it was about to blow his company up." I was like, "Oh yeah, I completely forgot about that." So again, just another thing to, point out that John Walker is not Captain America. I don't give a fuck what he does or how hard he tries, he's not Captain America. He just needs to let that mantle go. He needs to stop. He needs to stop. If you have to go around telling people, do you know who I am? Do you know who I am?
Yeah.
No, we don't know who you are. We don't care. That's just how I feel. I mean, I totally sympathize with that guy when he was like, I know who you are. I just don't care. Yes, sir. I am the same. We are kindred spirits in that respect.
Right. It's like they're probably saying you look familiar, but you kind of look like this guy, but you're not him. I mean, he's
I'm laughing because Anthony has changed his screen name to not Hanako's Cap. The guys have cute screen names tonight. Anthony is not Hanako's Cap, and Michael is Adorable Melage.
Oh, mine changed back. Mine said, "Don't call Sarah."
I like yours.
Mine says, "Don't call Sarah's phone."
Sarah, don't call my phone.
No, Sarah,
Sarah, don't call my phone.
I can't find this.
That was cool.
Okay. All right.
I just think that there's something. I think they're making his character become more unhinged, and it's like the other scene that they had in there where they realized that when they found out that Zemo got broken out of prison, so that he was like, yeah, okay, so maybe we should start tracking them and following and seeing what they're gonna do. So I think he's getting way more sinister now. I think that this is where that really is where I was like, okay, I think Battlestar is probably gonna try to intervene himself in there, and somewhere in along this line is where he's gonna get the serum from somebody, and I think it's that same whole ass senator that said, Sam, you're doing the right thing. I think he's probably going to be involved with the power broker somehow to get him the serum, and then we're going to see all hell break loose.
Well, yeah, because I was gonna say, so what was it that Dr. What was his name? Dr. Nagel. Yeah. He said that he made 20 vials of the super serum. So we know that Carly's group, they had 8.
Yeah, they have 8. There's 12 left.
There's 12 out there that's not accounted for.
Well, she has them all.
She has them all?
Carly has them.
Yeah, that's why Power Broker found this thing going to kill her.
Yeah, he said you took something.
Oh yeah, that's right. That's right.
Gonna get it back. And she also said the scientist who made it is gone, so he's gonna have to come to us.
Yeah, I'm wondering how is she getting all of this news and she's supposed to be like off the grid? Like who's giving her all of this intel?
There's this thing called a mole.
Mole.
And a mole's job is to pretend that they're down with the crew, but on the down low, what they're doing is that they're doing Morse code, or they're sending an email, or they're waving a flag, or they're arranging origami, saying this is what you need to know. She's got a mole.
She's got somebody feeding her information. I wonder who it could.
I think there are moles all over the place. I mean, there are more moles there are more moles in this show than on a witch's butt. Like they're everywhere. I think that the government has moles in it. Then someone's following Sam. Then there are moles everywhere.
I have a theory.
She has her hand up. She has a theory.
I have a theory.
Oh, she has a theory.
I think that Sharon is her mole.
Interesting.
I think they're working together. I think Sharon is deep cover. And I think that, like Martin Lawrence says, run tell that. I think when she got done working with Bucky and Sam, she ran and told that to Carly. That's my theory.
That's kind of what you were insinuating earlier in the episode, right, Anthony? That Sharon is probably the power broker, or is working for the power broker, or is associated in some way, shape, form, or fashion.
Yeah, all of the above.
Well, I don't think.
Okay.
I agree with Lori. I think there's something. I'm not saying Sharon's bad. There's something not sitting right.
She's
Sharon.
pissed.
What Lori says.
Yeah, I don't think Sharon's bad. I just think that she's a mole. She's working with it, because I don't think that Carly is power broker, has anything other than he wants what he can get from her. But I think that they've been working to take whoever power broker down.
I have a counter offer, Lori. I have a counter offer. It's not a theory. because only it's not a counter theory. Only because it's above counter. It was something, I don't know if it was Mike or you, Hanako, that said something about Lemar, kind of trying to keep a little check on great value Cap.
Yeah.
Is it possible that Lemar is the one feeding the information to Carly? Like, could he be a sympathetic ear for the whole situation?
Ooh.
Like, how would they be knowing, how would they know right before they show up that she's gone? How did they get their hands on the super soldier serum to begin with? I'm just saying.
That's a good question.
That's a really good question, man.
Not
that's
a theory.
Really good question. I think that's really good, Anthony.
I'm asking
awesome.
a question. You put again.
Oh, jeez.
I'm just asking questions. I have no theories. Just asking questions. Because this is all related to back in that first episode. I think it was the first episode where the subtitles, the guy that was about to get them at the airplane, get the flag smashers on the airplane,
right.
His subtitle said agent. Well, who are you agent for?
I can see. I think all these have some merit because I can totally see Sharon being underground in Madripoor, getting intel on the power broker and working stuff out with Carly. Because have we determined if Sharon got snapped or not?
Oh God, that's a good question.
I don't think she did.
Think so.
I don't think she did.
There you go. I mean, I think we should be. The thing we should be looking at is seeing who got snapped and who didn't, because that's a pretty defining line where you can see whose side who is on, whose side people are on. Because let's say John Walker didn't get snapped, but or conversely that Battlestar got snapped and John Walker didn't, or somewhere right around there where they can still be friends but still be kind of have an opposite mindset. So because people who didn't get snapped built everything is like kind of getting into the thing I was saying in what we did for episode 2 about how people are like they built everything up, then people came back and tried to take stuff back over. And then people who snapped and came back were like, oh, cool, I'm back. All right, where were we? And you can see that's two entirely different mindsets where people are like have different expectations of how things are going to go now that everything is back.
And we got something different with Dr. Nagel because he was working for the U.S. government. He gets snapped. When he comes back, the program is abandoned, but he wants to keep working. And he goes to the other side. I guess we'll call them bad guys. He goes to Madripoor, and someone funds his research some more to make mercenaries or whatever.
I mean, it makes sense.
Now, here's a question I do have about Sharon regarding her time away and the snap and all of this other stuff. So again, Sharon comes off as very bitter. She talks about the fact that she stole Cap's shield and Falcon's wings, and she has been on the run ever since. That means through the snap, the 2 years prior to the snap, she has been on the run. Now, my question is, if she wasn't part of the blip, if she wasn't one of the people who got snapped out of existence, you mean to tell me that Steve and Natasha were in the Avengers headquarters trying to help other people, but they left Sharon to her own devices? That seems strange to me because I don't think Steve would have done that to her.
What do you mean?
Well, no, hold on. Okay, so for what you said, she helped Cap.
Steve wouldn't leave Sharon.
She helped Falcon, and she had to be on the run. So, and she went to Madripoor. Is Steve or Natasha really going to look in Madripoor for anybody that's going to help them? Because
Natasha was looking all around the world trying to find Clinton when he was going around killing everyone. So why wouldn't they expend that? I mean, think about who Steve was and the fact that he and Sharon kind of sort of almost had a thing. The fact that she put her career on the line to help him to the point where she became an enemy of the state. She wasn't allowed back in her own country. I don't see Steve not helping her through that. You know, she made a very pointed reference about Sam and about Bucky. She said, you guys had the Avengers. I had no one. I don't see Steve leaving her out there to hang like that.
You answered your own question.
That just seems very strange.
No, you answered your own question. She isn't high enough on the totem pole. If she would have been Peggy Carter, yes. Sharon Carter, no. In the comic book, would have been different. But in the MCU, she doesn't rank high enough for them to be concerned to go after her.
But Wanda brings up a good point, though.
And I would even venture to say that she's, based on what happened, she's smart enough that if she wanted to disappear, she could disappear. If she went to Madripoor, as far as Steve was concerned, she dropped off the face of the earth. And he could have looked as hard and as far and as wide as he wanted. And if she was in Madripoor and didn't want to be found, he wasn't going to find her. Because I'm sure she's using her real name in Madripoor.
But then if that's the case, then she has no right to be mad. She can't make it seem like they just left her out to dry. If they looked for her and she made it so that she couldn't be found, that's on her. She can't be mad at them. It just, I don't know, something about that doesn't make sense to me.
He could have just assumed she was gone too, especially if he hadn't heard from her. Like if he looked for her and didn't find her, he could have assumed she was gone.
I mean, she could have been gone.
And he didn't try to secure a pardon for her, especially based on the effort that she put forth in saving the world.
Maybe, I mean, there also the thing could be maybe she did get snapped.
Yeah, he thought she was gone.
Yeah, you know what? I think you're right.
They couldn't find her. I mean, you have to go to Occam's razor. It's like if you can't find her, she got snapped and she was gone. So
yeah,
but when I think about it, I don't really give that much credence to that theory because of the life that she has built for herself in Madripoor, because she's built a really nice life for herself in Madripoor. I mean, for dealing stolen art and all the other stuff, and she's living in a penthouse and basically living a pretty damn good life for someone who's on the run and hiding from the U.S. government.
Yeah, see, I don't really call that hiding out, because if you're hiding out, you wouldn't be fronting a penthouse. You'd be in a little small apartment like Bucky was.
Yeah, I don't think they don't have
Madripoor.
They don't have extradition. So
yeah, that's what I was gonna say. They don't have extradition laws, so I mean, why not live lavishly and live
right? It's Madripoor. I mean, Madripoor was a hideout for pirates. I mean, it's basically Tortuga from Pirates of the Caribbean, where everybody's like doing whatever the fuck they want to. I mean, they're basically living the life of the Lord of the Flies. It's like whoever's willing to do the most is going to be on top. So if she's somewhere where if she kills somebody, people are just going to drag the body and throw it in a pile. She's like, to get on top, they're gonna be like, oh well, fuck it, I'm gonna do what the fuck I want to.
All right. My version of different. I think you're right though. I think that it would probably serve us well to have a list of who got blipped and who didn't, because I think, especially as they move down to Loki and we get the Hawkeye series later on, that might actually become important.
I mean, I'm sure the picture will become clearer. It's just that I mean, again, I just think that there's definitely something more to Sharon than meets the eye. I'm not sure she's working with the U.S. government if they're looking for her, or if the U.S. government is putting up the story that they're looking for her, because that's a common trope in a lot of movies too, where they put out a bulletin saying that they're looking for her, but they actually are saying they're actually doing that as a cover story for her, so that she can do whatever the hell she needs to do to figure out what she needs to figure out.
Or she can be a scroll.
So that could be.
She can be a scroll. There's also that.
Oh my God! Please, that's too much. My brain. No, stop. God, please. No.
Too soon.
I'm sorry, but ever since they threw that into WandaVision, it's in the back of my mind whenever I see someone.
No.
Not yet. I can't do it.
No.
I don't know. Did you guys enjoy the way that Bucky went right into Winter Soldier mode when they was play acting with Zemo in the bar? I thought that was awesome. In fact, Sam looked kind of scared. He was like, "Oh shit!" He went back to being the old guy.
He didn't kill anyone. That's the key.
This is true.
Still following the rules.
This is true. But it was awesome.
He didn't kill anyone though.
It was awesome. You know, just to see him get back into that mode, and it was just like, and then Sam, of course, checked him. He was like, "You okay?" He had to think about it. Gave him that head nod and kept on going. But
yeah, because I remember in the last episode, Mike mentioned like to see what happened if Zemo told him the words.
Yep.
He said the same thing. I just wanted to see what would happen.
It's like he whispered him. He didn't really say him. He just like whispered him to him like he was flirting with him. I'm like, say the damn words.
It was funny because as soon as he said the first word, I paused my TV and I burst out laughing. I said, Mike just said he wanted to see. And
I mean, he had to do it. You know, if he didn't do it, we would have been mad as hell because we're like, oh, come on. If Zemo sees it, the first thing he's gonna do is start saying the damn words. Rusty
nail, blackboard,
just looking at
collard greens. Damn it, didn't work.
Also, I'm wondering how he knew they would work.
I really think he was just trying to see. I don't think he.
I think he knew. I think the way he said it, the way he said, "Yeah, I was just trying to see it. I was just making sure." I think he knows. What
did he say? I was trying to see if the new you would react to the old words or something like that. So again, Zemo is getting information from somewhere because obviously he knows that Bucky was in Wakanda or that Bucky has had something done to him to where he's been deprogrammed. But I think too, Zemo is smart enough to know that if Bucky felt like he was even possibly able to be under Zemo's influence, if he was just even remotely susceptible to that again, then he wouldn't have come. He wouldn't have shown up.
Zemo is shiesty as fuck. He lifted Bucky's notebook, and Bucky didn't even notice.
Man.
And he asked him why his name was in it. Because the Yakamara's name is on the same page as Zemo's.
Yeah, and he totally got it.
It's only a few lines down. Yeah.
And he even told him what he was doing. He goes, "Oh yeah, I got it. You know, you got your name, you got the list. You know, taking care of this." He basically was like, "Yeah, I know exactly what you're doing. You didn't seem bothered by it, but I'm going to throw this out there. It's quite possible that Zemo has done what they did with Lex Luthor in Supergirl last season, whereas they had Lex in jail and everybody thought Lex was all nice and in jail and all this other stuff, but Lex controlled the prison guard, controlled the warden, and he would come and go as he would please. And he went over to Russia, did a few things, and when he came back, he only fell out of sorts when the warden got really, really upset with him. So it's possible that Zemo has been in and out of the said prison for years.
It's kind of like Kingpin in the last season of Daredevil.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. He's been doing whatever he wants to do, and it's only convenient when he has to make an appearance of still being in prison to serve purposes or appearance sake. I forgot about that. God, it's been so long since I've seen that. I need to watch that.
Yeah, I was thinking about that too. Okay. Shout out to Zemo for having listened to Trouble Man by Marvin Gaye. Like that caught me off guard. I was like, word?
And the fact that he was like,
it's the definitive African American experience.
Was like,
he's out of line, but he's right.
I mean, just Zemo in this episode, period, was just so not what I expected. And it was it really was refreshing because, again, like I said, Marvel has this way of making you question whether the good guys are bad or the bad guys are good, you know?
If you think about it, at the end of Civil War, he won. He got exactly what he wanted. You know, he everything he set out to do, he accomplished.
Except for putting that bullet in his brain because T'Challa stopped him from doing that.
That was unfortunately. That was unfortunate.
No, that wasn't unfortunate, because if he had succeeded, then we would not be getting this gold that we're getting now in this episode with them. So yeah, I mean, and then so the prison breakout, just to see, we talk about the chemistry between Bucky and Sam, and we've talked about how Sam is like the clown of the two and Bucky is more serious. I love the way that Bucky told this story, because he was telling it in a humorous way, but he was still his kind of stoic self. He was like, can I give you a hypothetical setting? And Sam's looking like,
hypothetical?
How hypothetical? He's
what
like,
did you do?
And so he starts,
what did you do?
Right. And so he starts telling this story. And the way that he's telling this story, you can tell it's amusing him a little bit, but it's not so much that it's out of character for him. And then when Zemo walks in, Sam's like, yo, what? He was like, I didn't tell you because I knew that you wouldn't let this be. It was just, Bucky can be funny when he wants to. He doesn't have to be like slapstick funny. He can be funny in a very subtle way and it's still funny. The way that whole scene played out and just him telling the story, I could almost feel Sam looking at him like, motherfucker, what did you do? What did you do? What?
Exactly.
I could just imagine.
He was like, you did not. No, you didn't.
Right. And then, okay, so let's talk about this little hideout that Bucky takes Sam to while they wait for Zemo to get there. So yeah, Zemo has to be really connected because he still has all the cars. He has the garage. The electricity is still on. He's got some connections.
Right. The lights are still on, but Sam can't get a loan for his sister. Get the fuck out of here with that bullshit.
It's old money. He's royalty.
He was royalty.
I realize that, but I'm still gonna be mad about that shit. Like, come on, man. Yeah, but yeah, it's like, I really think Zemo is the kind of guy, he stays ready. He kind of has figured out a lot of scenarios, so he's like, okay, I have enough money to keep the lights on and maybe hire somebody to start the cars every now and then if I need to get in one to make a getaway or something. So he has plans on top of his plans. He's like, he really had this nailed down. I was actually kind of impressed. Like, I'm guessing like the old butler went and like polished the cars every now and then. He probably told me, he was like, I'll be back later. Just make sure everything is fine. But I'll see you in a few.
Think about how much patience and how meticulous he is with what he did, how he dismantled the Avengers in Civil War. I mean, he's like a master strategist with all the patience in the world. And think about it, if he has been sitting in that cell, all he has been time. He just has time to sit there and think of all these things that he wants to do. You know what I mean?
Yeah. You know what I think? I have the episode playing in the back, and the part where Bucky is at Zemo's cell and he asks him, what are you reading? And Zemo looks and he said, he tells him the book that he's reading. He says, Machiavelli. The way that the scene is cut, the next scene that we see, he picks up the book and he's flipping through the pages, and that's when he finds the key card. I think he gave Bucky the book and Bucky put the key card in. I think Bucky stole the key card from the guard that let him in there in the first place. But because think about it, when Bucky was going in there, he already had it in his mind that he wanted to break Zemo out. I think Bucky slipped him that key card.
I mean, Bucky slipped that little note to the guy, so I mean, he's obviously.
I think Bucky obviously has some.
I can see that. I mean, I think Bucky probably had the idea that he was going to spring him when he walked in the door. That's why he had Sam wait there. Because when I first saw it, I was like, why is he telling Sam to stand there? Because at first I was worried that something was going to happen with him between the two of them, like to Bucky's detriment. But I think Bucky just told him to stay there because he didn't want Sam to be implicated in whatever the hell he was getting ready to do. Because Sam has shit that he needs to take care of himself. So he's like, well, I don't want Sam to get involved. If I get involved in this, fine, I can handle it. But Sam has like family and shit. I really don't have a family, so I'm not gonna let Sam get involved in this bullshit that I'm getting ready to perpetrate. So Or conversely, I have a theory. Wait, I'm sorry. This doesn't seem right. I have a theory. Okay, that's better. So we're talking about who got snapped and who didn't. What if Zemo didn't get snapped, but the guards did, and somehow he got out of the cell and took one of the guards' cards and got back in the cell. And just kept it for a rainy day. And as soon as he saw Bucky, he was like, "Oh, rain, cool, time to go."
I think that's really, really far fetched.
That's why I went back to my prepubescent theory, because I wasn't really sure about it.
Think about this. Zemo was able to lift Bucky's notebook. Where did he have Bucky's notebook? Inside of a book. So we know he can lift things from people. He lifted the key card at some point from one of the guards and slipped it inside the book, just waiting for his chance to escape. That's not a theory.
There sounded like one.
It's not a theory. They showed. I mean, what was the point of having him lift the notebook and put it inside of a book? Because Bucky didn't know he didn't have it on him anymore. Some poor unsuspecting guard didn't know he lost his pass card. Sorry, I just, like I said, I just watched the latest episode of Prodigal Son, and it's all about lifting stupid security cards and slipping in books. So whatever. I think that's a telling scene.
Yeah.
Why else show that? Zemo steals things and sticks them inside of books. Sticky fingers.
Yeah.
Hanako's like, yeah, whatever, guys.
No,
she's mad because we're trying to dismantle her theory that
No. No, I have it playing in the background, and I'm laughing at the parental unit of Sam and Bucky fussing at Zemo. No, telling him he can't do anything, and the way he's looking, he's like, "Oh, okay, I'm sorry." He looked like a scolded child when they told him that. So, but
because I don't think they would have a cell which would allow anyone other than the guard to put something inside the cell. Like him being able to pass the book to Bucky and then Bucky puts something in it and pass it back to him, that would be something that would be very difficult for you to do in a maximum security prison. So
yeah.
Unless you have inside help.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if Bucky had the card, I mean, think about it. They have to get his food in there some kind of way, right? There's probably like a small slot in the door that they have to use their key card to access so that they can slide him food and he can slide his tray back out. But if Bucky already had the card, he would have been able to do that. But, again, I mean, I just happened to look at it and I was like.
See, now I have to go back and look at the layout of the cell and see the cell door now.
Right.
Either way, it's a pretty ingenious escape.
Yeah, and I like the way that they showed it and the way that they told it. Bucky's telling it to Sam while it's actually being shown to us. It was very Ocean's 11 like to me.
It was kind of Shawshank like too. Like, I mean, it was just like kind of showing how he did it and the escape, and then them meeting up and when after he gets out, and it's like, what is he doing here?
Right.
I'm like, let me tell you a hypothetical. What did you do?
Yeah, man, listen.
Oh, I'm sorry. And before we go, at the end, you're not going to move the seat up, are you? No.
Man, yes. That was awesome. The get back. Yeah, but I mean, as soon as he got in and he saw he didn't have enough room, he was like, "Oh hell, you're not gonna let the seat up, are you?" No. That was awesome.
That was petty. That was petty.
Fair play. He did it to Bucky, so now Bucky can do it to him. But you have to see, Bucky let it sit there for a minute, like he was thinking about it. But he wasn't going to let
No,
that seat
Bucky
up. He
was
was like,
wholeheartedly not going to let that seat up.
No, but it was still petty.
That's why he hurried up and got in the front seat. He was probably like, yeah, I'm not going to let that shit happen again.
I love that dynamic between the two of them. And then, like you said earlier in the episode, to just add Zemo into it, and it's like the trio we did not know we needed.
For real.
It's awesome.
Well, yeah. And I think that as we get each episode, it's just going to get better and better because they learned a little bit, I think, from planning and what they did with WandaVision. It's translated over to this. It's going to get better as we get the other shows. But this is, unlike WandaVision, this is a complete movie, like we said earlier. WandaVision was more of an episodic, are they going to do it or are they not going to do it? But this is a whole, as they say, the whole package. It's everything.
Yeah.
I mean, like Anthony said, it feels like a movie. It really, really does. Trying to think, what else do we need to talk about? Let's talk about the doctor's lab. I never knew that you could trick out storage containers in that way.
Hey, there's a whole rabbit hole on YouTube you can go through in people doing that.
No, I'm not doing it. No, it's bad enough that I can't get off TikTok and all the Marvel conspiracy theories.
Oh my God,
and all
they were flooded today. Like, holy shit!
I'm just telling you, shipping containers, tiny houses.
Yeah.
Now I have seen, oddly enough, that I could actually see, because one of the characters on The Walking Dead was actually living in a small shipping container. So I could see something like that.
So, yeah,
but
it's not out. It could be done. I wasn't surprised, especially with the false door in the back, because there's an episode of Lucifer where that's where his wings were hidden.
Yeah.
Wait, say that again?
In Lucifer, his wings were supposed
right. Yes,
in a shipping container.
Okay.
Yeah, and they did, and almost for like 3 seasons in a row, Grimm did something fairly important, and they dealt with storage containers in the storyline. So yeah, they've been using that more and more in the last couple of years.
Storage containers are kind of cool. We actually thought about making a house out of storage containers too, because I mean, for what they are, they're relatively cheap. You just have to like clean them, cut them, and get someone who knows what they're doing to actually put them together like that. But I mean, when they first went in there, I was like, "Why are y'all going in the empty storage container?" I thought it was a trick from Zemo where he was going to lock them in and be like, "Ha ha ha! Sam is everywhere!" and start running off and be like,
well, anything resembling a storage container, I'm leery to live in, considering that I literally grew up in Tornado Alley, and those are like the prime houses that wind up, spinning off and going into the heavens. So,
yeah. Okay, there is one other thing that we, I guess, I think we mentioned it earlier, but when Dr. Nagel was talking about the super serum and the American test subject that he was able to get the samples from, you can tell that Sam wanted to say something, but when they pan to Bucky, you could look, Bucky was looking at him, and you could see like a very, very, very slight shake of the head, like, no, don't, almost like telling him, don't bring this up or don't say anything. I want to know why.
The sample was probably from Isaiah Bradley, and then he probably didn't want them to know that Isaiah was still alive, or that they knew
okay, that's what I was thinking too.
Yeah.
Okay, that's what I was.
No one knows. Yeah, because can you imagine if Zemo or any of them knew that there was someone who they could possibly get more of the secret, stuff from?
Right, that would be putting Isaiah through it right again. Did he be going through the same thing that he had been through going through again? So, I mean, they were like, Sam was like, Bucky was like, no, we're not going to do this. No. Shut the fuck up. Chill.
I thought about that too. I was like.
And the other thing that you have to think about is that maybe he didn't want just him to say it, not because of that, but of who else might have been listening in. Because think about it. What's the one thing that the government would love to get their hands on, meaning American government? the U.S. would love to get their hands on some version. If they realize that Isaiah is still around and still alive, who's to say that they couldn't pick him up and do some experiment? And John Walker all of a sudden gets, gets the juice.
Okay.
No theories over here.
Okay, first of all, shout out to them for making Zemo Cell like Hannibal Cell in Silence of the Lambs, and the way that Zemo acted that scene really was Hannibal-esque. Like he was just kind of really cool and even and not really getting all hyped up or anything. Like he really gave off a really cool and calm Hannibal Lecter vibe. When they said that when they were in Latvia looking at where Carly's mom or whoever it was who was dying, I thought they said Latveria, and I was like, Dr. Doom! Oh my God! Here we go!
Too! I did too!
I got hyped for a second. I was like, oh, Latvia. Okay, never mind. Okay, I'm good.
Yeah, I did that too. I was like, oh wait, no.
Yeah, they faked us out.
I got hyped. I was like, Latveria. Oh shit. Okay, never mind.
And you, Michael, you missed something about the cell too, by the way. Anthony, did you catch
What's
it?
that?
The
No.
numbers on the cell?
Mm-mm.
Oh shit, what were they?
Princess Leia's numbers from herself.
You know what? I heard somebody else mention that, but I didn't know what they were talking about because I hadn't watched the episode yet. So shout out to Bucky for having some bomb ass eyesight to be able to see those beads just by, he's walking and then he's like, oh yeah, I'll catch up with you guys. I'm going to go for a walk. And he has to turn back around
and not giving it away.
And then go, how do you see that? And then when you pick up the first one, you look across the street and there is one in the wall, but you have to really be looking for it.
Weren't they beeping?
Were
they?
Yeah,
yes, they were. Yes,
they were beeping.
They were. I heard it. I heard them beeping. Yeah,
they were beeping.
Okay.
He just it's more so his hearing is really good.
Yeah. Also, shout out to Bucky not ripping Helmet's throat out when he jiggled his chin in the bar. He was like,
he's like a puppet.
Yeah, I was like, wow. But Bucky was probably like, I will rip your motherfucking throat out if you don't get your fucking.
Yeah, but he had to pretend like he was the Winter Soldier. The Winter Soldier doesn't lose control like that. And I think also too, that's why Zemo was getting a little bit too, I won't say familiar, but he was having just a little bit too much fun with that whole scene. And yes, I have control of the Winter Soldier and blah, blah, blah. Yeah, he was having a little too much fun because he kept telling them, don't break character, don't break character. Even though Sam was like, when he was pulling up that drink, he was like, ooh, like,
yeah.
And that brings me to something else that I actually did have a little bit of problem with. What was the plan? Because Zemo's told Selby, yeah, if you give me the information, you can have the Winter Soldier. And I'm thinking, how's that going to work?
He would have broken character by that point.
Yeah, so how else could that situation would have ended with them on the run? Selby's either going to be alive or dead, but they're still going to be on the run being chased by guys with guns.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
Yeah, that's a good point. Also, the picture of Conrad Mack, the smiling tiger, looked, I was like, did Sam just change position? Because that looked exactly like
that. Was
like,
Anthony Mackie. I just froze the screen on that picture. I think that was him.
I thought it was Trip.
Okay, see, that would make sense because they do look alike.
They do kind of favor.
Yeah,
because they've been bringing people back from over, the movies and stuff. That would be a cute little camel to just throw him in there.
But Trip is dead, so that would
doesn't matter. They can still use the actor.
I think that was Anthony Mackie, pimped out.
That was, you know how you get those emails about African garb because you bought one T-shirt at one website one time. I think that's what happened because that suit was interesting.
Yeah,
But I have to give it to him though, because I can only imagine when they brought him the wardrobe and he looked at it. I'm sure he just laughed like crazy because it was, even for garb that you African garb, it was pretty hideous. I will say that.
Yep.
Yeah, man, I can't wait for this next episode because I want to see if it's just what's her name from the Dora Milaje, or if Okoye's like around the corner waiting to say
I'm
something
telling y'all
too.
now.
I want to see how far in Wakanda this rabbit
Telling
hole
y'all
goes
right
because
now, if Denai Guerrera shows up on my screen, I am going to lose my shit.
I can't wait. I'm just, you know what? I'm just really hoping that they haven't been really, really, really good at holding back a Chad cameo. Because if I see Chad on that screen, I'm not gonna be able to watch the rest of that episode at all. I'm gonna lose my shit. I'm just not gonna.
Yeah, I know.
See,
I haven't even,
I
haven't
no.
seen Ma Rainey's
I don't expect it, but
I
I'll
won't
just
watch
say,
Raw Rating. Yeah, I won't watch it. I can't even watch Black Panther still. So, but I think that if there was a cameo that they filmed with him, I think that there would be enough of a headway to let people know, because people would be too emotional to watch it.
uh,
I don't know, because they're really good at keeping that shit
yeah,
secret.
yeah. And I think it would be
I mean, think about it this way. They've been really good so far at keeping a lot of the shit that they're putting in this show secret.
True.
Like, I mean, people were kind of expecting Isaiah Bradley, but they didn't know if they were going to get him. Then we got him. I mean, people weren't expecting that we're going to see one of Dora Milaje in the alley at the end of this episode, but there she is.
Yeah,
They're
that's
really
true.
good at this shit. Real quick, shout out to Sam for saying, "Wait, what's his name said? Wait for my sign," and Sam just went on and did it. And they went into their little thing as well. They're like, he was like, "Wait a minute, you were supposed to wait for my sign. You're supposed to be behind me." And it's like, I'm like, one of these days, one of them's gonna get
and
shot.
then there was Sharon, like the mother, excuse me, this is not the time.
Right, exactly. And then Baron Zemo came in his super mask and started killing people. I was like, I'm impressed. Like, I mean, that was really well choreographed. Like the whole thing with Sharon when she took out all eight of them, then Zemo coming in like Jason Statham and like taking people out. I was like,
Now, the other thing that I was going to say, as far as Bucky and Io, the way that he picked up those beads and then came into the alley, and he was kind of like, the way that he was speaking to her, even when he realized who it was, he was like, I was wondering when you would get here. It kind of made me wonder just how much of his life did he actually like live in Wakanda? Like, did he actually, fraternize with anybody there? Because when we see him in the end credit in the hut, he seems to be secluded. He's by himself, and he's kind of keeping himself away from people. So I wonder if there was a point of time where he actually felt comfortable enough to go and like meet with some of the other Wakandans, maybe build a rapport with them, because they didn't seem like they were strangers.
I thought there were some kids running around outside the hut.
yeah, they're like, white wolf, white wolf, white wolf.
Yeah,
it was little kids, but also Shuri was telling them, "Oh, leave him alone. He needs to get his rest." But I mean, think about it. If you're somebody who's trying to get peace and someone who's trying to, I guess, rehabilitate yourself, he probably wouldn't want to be around adults, because adults were the ones that fucked him up. Children,
right.
probably
So
nothing.
I think he was probably. To me, it seemed like he was kind of familiar with them, like especially with the kids running around. I'm sure it seems like they know him well enough to allow their kids to be around him. So I would assume that
That's not necessarily true, because you know how kids are. Those kids
that's true.
snuck off.
But if he was that much of a danger, they wouldn't have allowed that.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I think, I'm just saying it seems like they, like you said, he found peace there. He wasn't looking for a fight. So he probably hung out with the kids, and he probably hung out with some of the adults. And I'm sure part of his rehabilitation was, maybe sparring with the Dora Milaje. Like,
I was just about to say, I would, if we're gonna have Io in a scene or in the show, even for an episode, I would love to see her and Bucky do a fight scene together, like them against somebody. I want to see that.
Mm.
I want to see that.
I feel for whoever's on the other side.
Oh, I definitely. I mean, it's probably going to be some super soldiers, but still, I would love to see that fight. But oh no, get all four of them: Sam, Zemo, Bucky, and I.
Hey,
Okay, let me stop. I'm hyping myself.
Go to YouTube and watch the final trailer for the show. All your questions will be answered.
I'm sorry, what?
Nothing.
No. Even I'm not going to do that. No, if I want to
do that.
If I want to watch a good fight scene, I go back to the best fight that they've ever made in Marvel, and that's the Civil War one, where the both sides are going against each other in the air hangar. That's the best fight ever. I'm sorry, it just is.
Oh no, that Bucky Cap Tony fight at the end of Civil War is pretty brutal.
It's brutal. It's brutal. I will give you that. I like that one, but just maybe because I've waited 20 something years to see them go against each other with Spider-Man in the mix. It just, like I said, when I watched that, and I watched the Game of Thrones Helm's Deep episode where they're being chased by the zombie horde. Those are the two ones that I always go back to.
My favorite one is in the first Avengers movie where Iron Man and Cap, they do a move that's from the Marvel Ultimate Alliance video game.
Oh yeah.
That's my favorite.
Yes.
Where Iron Man, he shoots his repulsor into the shield, and Cap
and it
bounces around. Yes, yeah.
That's from Marvel Ultimate Alliance.
And you have to slow it down because it's so quick. Yeah, I might have slowed and watched that a few times in a row. I'm sorry. It's just that all of my childhood dreams, as far as comic book coming to real life, have come true, basically. So I get down a rabbit hole and I'll rewatch certain things. Like Hulk punching out Thor. That was just the most hysterical thing. I watched it all day long. Literally all day long.
No, the thing I can watch all day long is when Cap finally gets control of Mjolnir.
Oh yes. Great.
That scene. Oh my God, I get chills every time.
There is a specific video on YouTube that keeps making the rounds, and it's where someone is recording the audience reaction to that whole battle scene.
Yes.
Every time I watch that clip, I cry because I remember being in the movie theater, and like the movie theater that I was in when that happened, that whole battle scene, once he picked it up and everything that happened after that, the whole theater went nuts. Like, I'm jumping out of my seat. People are screaming, cheering. I remember that feeling. And every time I watch that video, I have goosebumps right now talking about it. That was like probably the single most amazing cinematic experience I have ever had in my life. And I don't think we will ever get anything like that again.
I live with, who I'm related to by marriage, she said, she said that was the first time in the 25 years that we've known each other I have ever heard you yell out loud in the movie theater. And I was like, I don't remember that. She said, no, you yelled when he picked up that hammer. I don't remember it.
Yeah. I literally think
Michael was trying to, my son Michael, I have a son named Michael. Michael was trying to tell me, he was like, Mom, he was like, sit down. I was like, do you see everybody else in here losing their shit? I'm good. I was like, nobody's going to tell me to sit my ass down. Everybody was on their feet. Everybody was cheering, screaming, crying. It was mayhem, and it was amazing. I will never forget that.
And I swear to God, that scene where he's going, woo-hoo-hoo-hoo, I did that same thing. I swear to God, I'm like, is that me? I swear to God, that's me. I'm like, I did the exact same thing when Captain, I was like,
When
Yes,
Thor,
I did the same
when
thing.
Thor was like, I knew it, and that look on Thor's face, it's like, yeah.
And then
pretty much.
it's like every time I hear Sam say "on your left" and come through the portal. I am Groot. I am Steve Rogers. That gets me. That one gets me. It's like that part is like whenever I started coming back, I think I was more misty at that part than when Tony died. Because
definitely.
That's the part where it's like, because Cap was getting ready to be like, "Fuck it, I'll take out as many as I can. Y'all have to get past me."
And that beautiful,
like on your left. I was like,
yeah,
I was like, that's my girl.
And that beautiful sequence.
Spidey come back. I was like, oh,
the sequence of the girls when the women says it's our turn and they go for one and they run the ball. Oh my God. Okay, now we gotta watch.
But let me tell you what pissed me off about that scene. Natasha should have been there.
I agree. Natasha should have been there.
Have such an epic, iconic, and I know we're getting off the subject. We are completely in other territory. But how do you have such amazing?
That's true. Because she deserved to have it. Yeah, she deserved
all of the Marvel women. But Natasha is.
She should have been.
That pissed me off.
Yeah.
To know.
But you know how.
I mean, but it was beautiful. But you know what? I never thought of it that way. But you're absolutely right. Of all the people, she deserved to be in that scene. Mm-hmm. I agree with you 100%.
Yeah, that was the only issue that I had with that movie was the fact that when they did that lineup, I felt proud. But at the same time, I was like, y'all are fucked up because Natasha should have been there.
Yeah.
She should have been in that scene.
And also, right before then, when Captain Marvel was talking to Peter, when he had the like, "Hey, I'm Peter Parker," she was like, "Hi, Peter Parker." I was like, "That's Captain Marvel."
Yep.
I was like, that, when she said it that way, I was like, "See that right
and
there."
She had the hair, and she did the whole supernova thing. So we sort of like this movie a little bit.
Yeah, we did.
I'm gonna have to go and watch it.
Yeah, no, it's like, no, I want to watch it again. I want to watch that Civil War.
You know what? That's one of the things that WandaVision and Falcon and the Winter Soldier have made me want to do. They make me want to go back and watch all the movies again. But of course, it's like, do I even have the time to do that?
To do this?
Right.
Well, see, I did that when we first got the lockdown thing last year. That was the first thing I did because I was working at home for the first time. So I have a TV here in the office, and I just turned the sound down low when I was working, and I spent the next 3 weeks watching all the movies from Captain America, the first one, all the way through. So I was able to go back and watch every single movie, which was kind of awesome. But yeah, it takes, if you start, Daryl Taylor did it. If you start with the first Iron Man movie, and if you merge it with the Captain America movie, if you watch 2 movies a day, I think Daryl said, and it takes you about 3.5 weeks to get through all of them.
Okay.
Ain't nobody got time for that.
I mean, I can make time. It's just there's so much other stuff going on. But I think probably by the time I would say before Loki comes out, I will probably end up rewatching the movies because some of the movies I haven't seen in years, and you know, there's some things I've forgotten about what happened in them, like the little kid that showed up at Tony Stark's funeral. I was like, who the hell is he? They're like, that's the kid from Iron Man 3.
That's because nobody watched Iron Man 3.
Yeah, it's because when kids get older, they grow and they start looking different. So I was like, who the fuck is that kid? I was like,
again, nobody watched Iron Man 3.
Yeah. I did. So I'll probably end up doing that. But I mean, you know, you did bring up Civil War. I think Civil War was the movie that really made me fall in love with the Sam and Bucky dynamic because of that fight scene where they were fighting against Spider-Man. That whole scene was just comical because, of course, Spider-Man is still in awe because he's sitting here fighting against like these famous superheroes that he looks up to. And then you have Sam and Bucky who are kind of going at each other and at the same time trying to fight Spider-Man. And it's just, that was where I fell in love with that dynamic.
And just his voice, you know, cracks, goes, Mr. Stark. It's so much. You remember that movie, that really, really old movie that they used to have back in the day? The thing with the ad.
I didn't carbon date him.
Okay, it was a great movie. All right. So, again, there are certain movies and there are certain sequences, there's some that you don't care for. Like that whole thing with Cap and Natasha when they go to the underground bunker looking for the whole thing in the second one. I didn't care for that. I didn't like that whole sequence with them in the bunker. That was not a favorite of mine. But I like the movie overall. I mean, the movies really, these shows really make you go back and want to watch the movies or watch certain parts of the movies because it's so awesome. I mean, the CW and the DC stuff, there are certain things that I can rewatch, but not as much. I mean, there are certain parts of The Flash that I'll go back and rewatch because they were awesome. Certain parts of Arrow, the crossovers, especially the last couple ones and the first one, I'll go back every once in a while and I'll watch those, but they still cannot match the MCU.
No, not at all.
But Crisis was pretty good. I will give you that.
Any final thoughts on episode 3?
I'm just ready to see how deep into Wakanda they go. I really want to check that out because I wouldn't think that she would come alone. I don't think she came alone because first off, she's not a Okoye. I think if it was Okoye, I'd be like, okay, Okoye's there alone. That's fine. But it's just since you see her, I'm like, okay, there's someone else there. Whether it's Okoye, I swear to God, if it's Shuri, I'm losing my shit. But I don't think she's there alone. Even if she's there with some other Dora Milaje, I think that I don't think she's there alone.
Yeah, that's going to be interesting to see how much of Wakanda we get in this series, but also they've only got 3 episodes left and we still haven't met the power broker, even though you guys have your theory.
Or have we?
Anthony,
I have not had the theory.
That's a theory. Whatever.
You got like 5 in this episode.
I don't know what you're talking about. I just asked questions.
But yeah, so whatever. And on that note, we're going to end the show right here. You can find us online at www.fandomhybrid.com. We are on social media on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Fandom Hybrid. You can listen to us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, and other major podcast streaming platforms. Thanks for listening. We hope you join the conversation next time.